Okay, so this past Friday, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Miss Zane Abiquiu, an extraordinary woman who has made an extraordinary impact. Born in Morocco, a former filmmaker turned political activist, she embodies the spirit with which we are gathered here today. Her passion for empowering youth was realized when she taught teens filmmaking and ran youth programs in New York City. She formed the Dunya project, Dunya meaning world or people of the world, with the goal of connecting young people for good. With this project, teens in New York could talk to young people like themselves everywhere from states over to continents over. They would discuss every topic under the sun, from Rihanna to the corruption of governments. She would go on to join UNICEF and become a part of Voices of Youth, a major global platform that, like Dunya, would allow young people to discuss their world. As I spoke with her, the passion that she held for justice and the power of the individual was apparent. Her faith in humanity and her capabilities inspiring, especially in this time of media saturation that can make us lose hope. One comment that she made really stood out to me. I brought this topic up of losing hope in a bleak world, and she said, "You know that woman in Gaza who you see on the television, crouching under tables, protecting her children? Well, she likes going out with her friends to have tea and flying kites by the seaside." She told me that we live in a wonderful, beautiful world that sadly has a lot of bad things, but it doesn't have to be that way. She told me that she wants the youth of the world to move, to get up and make change because we can. From UNICEF and the Voices of Youth, I would like to introduce one of the most kind, inspirational, and welcoming people I have ever had the honor of meeting, Zane Abiquiu.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hi. Hey, thank you. That was such a beautiful, introduction. Wow. Wow. Welcome. And so I'm Zane Abiquiu. I work at UNICEF. For some of you who don't know what UNICEF is, it's actually our mission is to protect children. So protect their rights, and that happens from the moment they are born until they reach adulthood. So you can define when we reach, adulthood. So what's important with UNICEF is also that children and young people can express themselves, can really have their voice being heard, because all the decisions that happen, we have to make sure that young people and children have this say. So that's why you are here today, right? To make sure that decisions that are made on the global scale is actually, your voice is actually being heard, and what you have to say is actually taken into account. But what I want to tell you today, and I'm not going to take a long time, I just want to tell you something. I want to tell you something about leadership. What does it mean to be a leader, right? So you're here today, and if you are here today, it's because you're a leader. You are a leader, right? But being a leader in a conference like this one, it's not enough. You have to be a leader in your life, in your everyday life, because you have to make sure that you really understand what it means. Being a leader, it's not that you have one leader and others that follow, just followers, right? No, it doesn't work that way. You're a leader in a certain situation, like right now, right? You will have other ones that follow your leadership, right? But then again, you are going to be a follower when another one of your peers is going to be a leader. So you have to keep in mind that everything you do every day, you have to be a leader, or you have to at least join forces with other people, other young people, other peers, and be together to make sure that you make your world a better place, because it's your world, right? It's yours. It's your planet. When I talked to Brian, there's something that I said was a priority, major priority. It's the environment. Your environment, I don't know. Most of you, I'm sure, are very affected by what's going on around you and how, and the future of our planet. But this is the main thing. First, we have to make sure that our planet is safe, and that the people that live in it are safe as well. So these should be your major priorities. And also, like I mentioned to Ryan before, the world is not like all bad, It's not all bad. There are a lot of opportunities, a lot of things to make it better. There are many things that you could do. And the first thing you could do is really get up, right? Get up, do something, talk to your friends, talk to your peers, try to find people that are interested in doing things, right? And get together and change the world. You can do it. People in the past have done it, right? The world is just getting better and better and better, except for the environment, but everything else is getting better. So really, what I was telling the young people before, and I don't know, maybe that sounds, a little bit rude, but just, get off your couches, it's great to be online, to communicate with other people in order to make things better. But yes, live your life, have fun, hang out with your friends, do whatever you want to do and have fun. But at the same time, keep in mind that you do have a responsibility by being in this world. And this is not to put pressure on you, but there is a reason why we're here. Is really to make sure that we make the world better for ourselves and all of our fellow humans. Okay? So that's all I wanted to tell you today. Just to remember that you are a leader in every minute of your day. Thank you.
Hello. We are now going to conduct a question and answer session with our speaker, Zane Abiquiu. I would like to introduce our second facilitator, Madeline Hook.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Maddie Hauk, and I am joined by my classmate Julia Hubbard here in New York. We are representing 150 students studying human rights and implementary local and global service from our school in Ovid, upstate New York. We hope that our friends in Pakistan and the DRC are safe from conflict today and have access to the internet with us. We are now going to welcome Colegio Caralbar from Mexico City. You have 5 to 7 minutes.
Hello. Our first question is, in your opinion, what specific traits or qualities do most leaders embody?
Thank you for your question. And I just want to make sure that we all have the same definition of leader, right? I think anybody can be a leader. What's important when you consider yourself a leader, and like I said before, you're a leader in your family, in your community, in your school, in your country, in your world, online. Being a leader is being aware of your environment, is really being aware of what's around you, and have an idea on when you are taking on this type of role, what are you trying really to achieve. And the most important to keep in mind is whatever you do, it has to be to make positive changes and to make an impact. I think I don't want to give a list of criteria, you have to go to school, you have to have great grades, etc., because I think anybody who believes in change, who believes he or she can do better and make their world better, can be a leader. I think, did I answer the question, or you really want a list of...
Yes, thank you. Our next question is, you said that the world is getting better except for the environment. However, with all the recent conflicts, how is the world getting better if we are
That's
still...
an excellent question. That's an excellent question. So you will notice that I'm a big optimistic person, right? I'm a big optimist. I really believe we can make the world better, and it's getting better. I think today we have the opportunity to see what's going on and to follow the wars and to follow all the conflicts and everything, because we have access to the media so much easier than we used to do before. So we know we also have access to images, so we see the horrors, right? Much like it's, you go online and you can see horrible things happening every day, and like how humans can be cruel as well, right? But this cruel, actions have been happening for a long time, and they actually, with creations of conventions and other guides to make the Declaration of Human Rights, or again the Convention of the Rights of the Child. I think obligating countries to actually ratify, not obligating them, but like encouraging them to ratify around, such declarations are extremely important, and they did making countries actually accountable, or people accountable for the horrors that we see, have made changes. So I think that the world is getting better. Horrible things are still happening. I didn't say that they weren't happening. They still happen a lot, and we actually see them, but it is really getting better. And I think we can be part of it and make sure we are part of this wave, of making it better and better and better, and less and less and less, and making sure that we have less and less conflicts and less acts of violence. But for the environment, no, it's not getting better. That's the sad truth.
Thank you. And how can we make more aware everybody that for making a change we all need to help?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure. How can we make more aware everybody that for making a change we all need to help?
That's an excellent question. How you can mobilize around you, how you can tell people, how you can raise awareness on issues or anything that is, on issues that are important to you. I encourage you to work at community level. If you can't do that at community level, like talk to your peers, organize something in your school, organize things in your neighborhood. You can also use this tool that is so precious and that we have today, that it's not only to find out what's bad out there, but it's also to use it for something good. Use the internet, right? Use social media to run campaign, right? You can talk about a topic and tell people, well, gather around, this is what's going on, we can make it happen. Give positive examples. If you did something in your community, I don't know, something as simple as organizing, the cleaning of the beach, right? And then everybody's there and they're cleaning the beach and everything, and then you take pictures and you're able to show that online. You show a positive move that you've done, but then raise awareness. Tell the community to, don't throw garbage anymore on the beach because everyone is using it. And when you're able to show that there is a change, a real change that happened, at community level, then you're able to share that with your peers online, not only in your community or your country or your city, but also around the world.
Thank you. You have given us very good ideas.
Thank you. I have another question. What do you think about corruption getting in the way of development?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
What do you think about corruption getting in the way of development?
Oh, but that's a very important question. Corruption.
That's going to have to be the last question. So after that, we're going to have to go.
Okay. Can that be the last question?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Wonderful. This is a very important question. Corruption. This is actually the dark thing in our world, really. Like it's really hard because corruption appears in different levels, and it's very difficult for us we feel that it's very difficult for us to do anything about it. But what I engage you to do is look at organizations that actually focus on not only getting governments accountable, but also how at community level you can learn not to participate in that. So I encourage you all to see what Transparency International is doing around that. So you can not only understand better the topic of corruption, because it's really hard for me to talk about it in like a minute, but because it's a very important topic, and all of our governments, everything around us is actually, has this issue. We all live this issue every day. So this is very important. If you could look at what Transparency International is doing, and also look at examples. They have excellent toolkits on things you could do at local level. Sorry, I know it doesn't really answer your question fully, but yeah, that's all I can say in a minute.
Thank you very much.
It's okay, thank you.
To work locally. No, it's do something locally about it. That's the answer. Okay, it's to work against it locally.
Okay, so thank you all very much for your questions. Now we are going to welcome the U.S. delegates in New York. We would like to hear our questions and comments. We have 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you. I have a question for you. So as leaders of the future generation, how do you think that we have an advantage over people in the past to make a world a better place?
You have the internet. You have the internet. So you have access to information. You have so much access to information. You're able so much easily to connect with other people, to organize, mobilize people, young people like yourselves. You have, you want to create a flyer to raise awareness in your school, right? Well, you're going to find someone in your class or in your group or in your friend that's able to go, on the computer and create a flyer. Actually, almost anyone can create a flyer, right? I'm not saying a really good quality flyer, but still, you can make one. So this is really the change that we have from before. The difference is that we're able to connect, and now the channels of communications became so fluid and so easy. You can organize yourself. You can be in Queens and organize with someone who is in Chennai, India. So you're able to do that. And this is pretty fantastic because you'll be able to see their perspective on an issue, and they'll be able to see your perspective on an issue. And you'll be able to exchange with each other and come up with better ideas that are more effective, not only at a local level, but also at the global level. Did I answer your question?
You have. Thank you so much.
I could have stopped at the internet, right?
How do you feel like the art of filmmaking positively impacts people?
Excellent question. Sorry. So filmmaking. I think I always believed that a camera is an excellent weapon, I shouldn't say weapon, but tool to not only to express, yourself or to show a little bit of your vision of the world, but also to tell a story, to tell what's going on, to tell how, but it's always through your own lens, right? It's always, it's very subjective. It's not, but it's really how you tell a story. Using the camera as a tool helps you do that. And today, what's fantastic is that you don't need, like in the past, again, to compare with the difference in the past. In the past, you needed to buy, you needed to spend at least like $700 to buy a camera and be able to do this kind of stuff, but this kind of work. But then today you can use your phone, you can use and you're able to communicate so many things. And there are movements out there that say, well, you don't need like this really fancy cameras to make this fantastic, this fantastic images and show this. You don't need to do that. If you want to communicate something, you can do some fantastic work with very, very cheap equipment. So I think it's an amazing tool to say things, to communicate things, to talk about an issue. But at the same time, always, this is very important, always respect. If you want to take on that and you want to be, I don't know, a documentary filmmaker or filmmaker, please make sure you always respect your subject. Always respect the image and who is and the story of people. You have to be you have a great responsibility as a filmmaker. So this is very important. Sorry, it's just that I don't have a lot of time to answer, even though these are like subjects that completely, I have a big passion for this. Yes?
I had a question. Is there any UNICEF youth program we can be a part of or contribute to?
Well, yes. Voices of Youth. So, sorry, thank you again. Voices of Youth. So half of you know what Voices of Youth is. Half of you don't. So Voices of Youth is an online platform where young people write blogs, but they don't only do that. They participate in debates and exchange ideas with each other. So Voices of Youth is not only a website, but there's also Voices of Youth Twitter and Facebook. So you can participate and debate and exchange ideas. Now, I think it's the best tool to write about issues because and also to learn about other issues. Why? Because you look at the perspective of other people on an issue. You think something is happening only in your community? Well, no. The same thing is happening on the other side of the world, but differently. And it's very interesting because it makes you learn a lot. And also you can see what are the best practices, what other people have done around, I don't know, X issue, right? And you look at what you can do, how you can apply that in your own community. So I think Voices of Youth is the best way for young people to be involved with UNICEF, I believe, because Voices of Youth is the platform for young people at UNICEF. So this is the platform. And from there, you can get great ideas on things you could do locally. In your local communities, physically, I mean. You're welcome.
Okay, we're out of time. So now we're going to welcome our friends in Karachi, Pakistan. Okay, never mind. We're going to welcome our friends in Makati in the Philippines. We would like to hear your comments and thoughts for the next 5 to 7 minutes.
Please organize. Yeah, can we have the next stand up? We're wasting.
So good evening, everyone. So my question is, with all the solutions that are to be presented later to aid or address the different concerns and problems the world is facing today, how do we know that we have enough support to carry out our respective action plans? Because that's the thing that confuses me. Are we ready to make these things a part of reality, a part of a very changing world? Are we ready to make these things reality? Are we able to see these things as soon as possible? That's my question.
Are you talking about the plan of action?
Yes. I was talking about our action plans for the solutions, about about the problem of our world?
That's an excellent question because myself.
We're having the issue again with the echo. I don't know how you figured that out.
Make sure that all mics in the other sites are off. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Okay. No, it's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think. All right, it's okay. I'm gonna not listen to myself. So, yes. So how these things actually happen? How they can take place? Because it's true. We talk. We are exchanging on Google Docs. We are coming here and having this conversation. But are these things gonna really happen, or we're just gonna talk about it? We're gonna create a plan of action, sign off on it, and go home. You know? Is this, what's happening next? Well, it's up to you. It's completely up to you. Entirely up to you. Because if you want to continue this work, yes, you have hundreds of opportunities to do that. Not only because you have seen these issues, you have explored these issues, going in depth. You understand them. You see how these issues are taking place in your community. You see exactly how they're taking place in your community. So you're able to find ways to address these issues because you came up yourself with ways to address them. So now it's your turn to take action. It's your turn to mobilize your community. It's your turn to mobilize your friends, your people in school that you go to in school. I don't know if you participate in a club, I don't know, in church or whatever, or whoever is, whatever is your community, and get together and make things happen. You could do that, So this is why you have, you're doing this work in depth and you're working on it and you're coming up with this great, plan of action. Last year, some of you who were part of the conference have presented the work to Ahmed Handawi, and which is the UN Youth Envoy. And what did he say? I thank you very much. Great work. I signed off on this. This is great. Now, make it happen. Show me how youth can actually change things, do it. So the ball is on your court, huh? It's in your court.
Thank you so much.
We're going to welcome our friends in the DRC now.
Want to let her 30 seconds? No? Okay.
We're really sorry. Out of time, so we're gonna have to move on to the next site. I'm so sorry. And from now on, guys, we're gonna have to do 2 questions because we're running a little late. I really apologize. Thank you.
Okay, we are now going to welcome our friends in Chennai, India. We would like you to share for 5 to 7 minutes.
Good morning, ma'am. Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states... It's not loud enough. Oh, really? Yeah. Good morning, ma'am. Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone has a right to life, liberty, and security of person. This has not been revised till date. Environmental degradation at that time was not to the extent it is now. Thousands of people die because of air and water pollution. Ma'am, don't you think we need to amend it to explicitly state everyone has the right to clean air and safe drinking water? We would like your opinions on this matter.
For you, first of all, for you to come and say we should amend article and saying that and proposing such a fantastic alternative. My question actually, I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to go back to, first of all, I think it's a great idea. I'm going to go back to you and say actually how you think you could amend it and what could you do? What are the steps that you could do to give such a proposition? Because I think it's fantastic, and documents are written like a long time ago, and sometimes it's important to, to adapt them, to today's realities. We could just add one more, though. We could keep the original one, too. I think. I do short answers so I can have more questions.
Okay.
Here. Thank you.
Sorry. You said that we have to be individual leaders to bring about a change. Two of the most important obstacles seems to be the need for funds and the cooperation of those we want to help. The latter is a resistance to change. How do we overcome this?
It's excellent questions. I hope I had more time. Again, super source, the internet. So on the internet, you can find actually organizations that are willing to fund projects. If you're able to find one of your friends who's able to write down a real plan, a plan of action, an action plan. You could just do a little, like a table where you do what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve, you list who are the people that are going to work with you, what's going to be each of them, each of their roles and responsibilities, how much money you need, because what are the materials that you actually need to make that happen. And to mobilize, for your second question, to mobilize people and to really have them join you, it's actually, you have to lead by example. If you show examples of that it's possible to make change, because many people, it's true, think that no, I don't want to mobilize, I don't want to do this because nothing is going to happen anyway. Like some people just say that, what's going to happen? Like, I'm going to do this with like 1 billion people, like it's not going to change anything, right? But that's not true. That's not true. Go again, use that super tool, the internet, and like find examples and share. Tell other people, look what they've done in the Kerala. Look what they've done there. It's fantastic. They've done this and this and this and this. Give another example somewhere else, or other communities, even communities right around you. And this is how you're able to mobilize people, I think.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your questions. We are now open for any other sites.
I just wanted to make a quick last-minute transition. Mr. Jacoby has just talked to the sites of Pakistan and the Democratic Republic of Congo and has a few things to say about that.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I promised I wouldn't interrupt and come in at all unless it was important. I spent maybe 30 minutes ago talking on the phone with the students in Kinshasa who are hard at work. They're all involved in the one sub-theme on education. Their internet went down again. They're having a lot of almost civil war issues there. And so they are not in the webcast. But I talked to them. They were all together. They put on the speakerphone. And I talked with them about, continue the work. And we'll do what we can here, even if it's after today, to include their work in the final process. So they seem to feel a little bit better related to that. But I just wanted you to know that they definitely are working. They are part of this entire team. And we need to try to do whatever we can, or you do, I think, to include them in what's happening with things. But they will not have comments today. So I initially said, well, just send us what you have in an email or a text message. But there's no internet, so they can't really do that. So I called them on the phone and was able to get through and talk with them for maybe 10 minutes. Karachi, I think, though I don't know for sure, there are up to 9 students from Karachi that are watching the webcast. If you're listening to me right now, I know you're in individual locations because of your situation. You're not at your school as we planned. If from your home, you have a comment or question that you would want to make when you hear like your school, your country, your city being announced, If we have the comment or questions from you through a text message, through email, to the ones that you have in the messages that we sent out to you, or send it simply to gem@chc.edu, if that's the one you're most used to, and we'll look to get it included in the deliberations that'll be going on after midday today for that. So that's the update on both of them. I think Karachi is there, up to 9 people, and DRC can't be there, and I know they're ready and anxious, but their situation is not allowing it right now. That's it. Thank you.
Now Ms. Abiquiu will make a concluding statement.
I just want to tell you all, thank you so much you had such fantastic questions. Sorry that I couldn't hear other questions, especially from the Philippines and then in this room as well. I wanted to tell you just, I've been hard on you. I'm like, come on, get up, do something and everything. You're doing fantastic things. I just want to say, just don't give up and continue. And it seemed that the major problem that most of you raised is the difficulty to also engage other people around you. I think it's possible again by just showing examples, like I mentioned before, showing examples and making. And actually, if you believe in it, just make sure you really believe and make other people actually believe that it's possible to make changes and to make the world better. Because it's true. I'm not only an optimistic person, but it's true. It's possible. Finally, I want you to say, if you have more questions that you want answer, I am sure you can email them to Mr. Jacobi, and then he will transfer them to me, and I'll be very happy to answer these questions. Also, I encourage you all to go on Voices of Youth, so voicesofyouth.org. If you, I don't know, if you want to see it, you can have it also in French if you want to, or in Spanish, and in English. So I really encourage you to go in there, read what other people are saying, and maybe you'll get inspired and have some ideas on on things you could do to engage your communities, not only at local level but at global level. Right? Thank you so much for having me. It was such a privilege to be with you guys. Thank you.